everyone, welcome back to Project Happy Home. For those of you who are new here, I'm Tanya, a doctor, lawyer, turned homeschool mom of 3 kids ages 10, 7, and 5. If you're interested in videos about secular homeschooling, raising a child with ADHD, and living a more essentialist lifestyle, you have come to the right place, so be sure to hit that subscribe button down below. In today's video, I am continuing our discussion of the book Essentialism by Greg McKeown with my good friend Joy over at Joy Filled Journey. So at the end of this video, be sure to check the description box below or the link up above to check out her video as well, because Joy has a great way of incorporating these concepts into her daily life, both as a small business owner, she's the director of CC, as well as a mom of 3 kids of her own, and just homeschooling them and juggling all of those different things. So today we're going to be discussing part 3 of Essentialism, and part 3 is entitled Eliminate, because it's not enough to just decide what are the best things for us to engage in our life, what's the best curricula, what's the best activities, what's the best homeschool co-op, what's the best use of our time as homeschoolers. It is also important to eliminate what does not fit in that category, because in all likelihood we've accumulated a lot of things: curriculum, manipulatives, people, places, activities, commitments that we don't need, that aren't truly essential to our core values and our real purpose as homeschoolers. That elimination step is especially important because without getting rid of those things, we truly don't have enough time and bandwidth to add in the things that are important to us, that are essential. You can't do the best things if you've already taken up the time in your day with the not so great things, right? In some ways though, this step of elimination is even more difficult than deciding what actually is essential. Deciding what is essential requires us to do a lot of mental work, right? Sit down, figure out our priorities, figure out our categories of elimination, and really hone down on what we want to do. But when we look at the things we've already invested in, the things that are already on our plate, it becomes a lot harder to get rid of them. One, because of sunk cost bias, right? There is this human tendency to pile in more time and resources into the things that we've already piled time and resources into. If I've already put 2 years of effort into something, do I really just want to give up on it now? That word give up is a real negative thing for us, right? It holds negative connotations. But the fact of the matter is, if we don't give up that which is not the best for us, we truly don't have the time or energy to do what is best for us. Getting over that feeling of waste, I've wasted my time on this, if I leave now, I've wasted my time on this, is a real big step, because it's important to understand that, yes, you might have sunk cost into something. You might have sunk resources and time into something that you can no longer get back. But by walking away now, you free up all of that time and energy and money that was costing to now give to something that might fit you better. Whether or not you've used a curriculum, for example, for a few years and you just have this feeling that it's not working, this is the time to really think about, why is it not working? Have I given it my best shot? Okay, I have failed at this. Or we have failed at this. This was a bad decision on our part. This wasn't for us. And regardless of the money that I've spent on it or the time that I put in, I think it's time now to walk away, because I can find better things for myself. Remember how I said that a lot of the essentialist mindset is about courage? It truly is. It is about being able to make that leap of faith that something better awaits. That just because I have slogged for this long at something or put this much effort into something that is not fulfilling me, that is not the best thing for my family, I can release that and let it go as something that is not meant for me and move on with grace. And really believe that something better for me awaits. I really have the energy and faith to try something that might be better, and probably will be, because I've run it through my criteria that I've set up now, right, with my essentialist mindset. It's not going to interfere with any of my deal breakers. Setting those deal breakers is really important. Remember what I said last week about, if I don't want to do anything on the weekends, any activities that involve me on the weekends should be eliminated. So if I don't want to have any curricula that doesn't have experiments, let's take all that out. If I want all my curricula to be hands-on, anything that's just straight, dry worksheets is out. Make those deal breakers for you so that your decision-making process becomes easier as this elimination process unfolds. One of the first things we can do to help us eliminate things is to clarify our actual intent, our actual purpose. One of the things you see a lot from homeschooling planners and homeschooling channels is to clarify your mission statement for homeschool. What is your mission? A lot of times I will see a mission statement in very flowery language. I want light knowledge in my child. It is the lighting of a fire, not the filling of a pail. All of these, Plutarch quotes and things like that. But those are, while they're inspirational, they're also kind of meaningless. Like, they don't actually translate into direct action in your homeschool. I mean, you might think they will, but almost any activity will create enthusiasm in your student. Almost any activity involves learning when you look at it. But what are the best ones for you? Your mission statement should be not only inspirational, but also concrete. It should have some definite purpose that you can achieve. For example, when I started using checklists last year in my bullet journal to track how many walks were we going on as a family, how many movie nights were we having, what were the read alouds that we were doing, tracking those things as a measure of success really helped hone in on my priorities. How many poetry tea times are we doing? I'm not simply saying that I want to fill my homeschool with light and laughter and inspiration and joy and classics. I'm saying I would like to do at least 12 poetry tea times in a year. And then I tracked that to see if I was actually meeting it. There's a wonderful initiative out there right now that you can follow called 1,000 Hours Outside. It gives you a direct mission statement, right? I will try to spend 1,000 hours outside with my kids, or my kids will spend 1,000 hours outside. It gives you not only the inspiration to get outside, but also a concrete measure of your success. Giving yourself that concrete definition of success at one of your goals is really empowering because it suddenly brings it down into the real world. And you don't need to have a million of these concrete goals. What actually is your mission as a homeschool mom? Like, what do you want to engender? And what types of concrete, tangible measurements would allow you to see that you are progressing, that you are succeeding in your goals? I really urge you to make your mission statement not only flowery and inspirational, but also concrete and definite, so that at the end of the year, you can look back and say, you know what, we really did this. We really did this thing. We really ate together every night, or we really did a poetry tea time every single week. Achieved something that we set out to do, and we are all winners because of that. Not another year where at the end of the year you think to yourself, oh, there's so much we didn't get done and maybe we can finish it over the summer and all of these things. Set yourself a goal and make it a priority to meet it. Not every single goal, just a few, just the ones that you think best define your actual true purpose as a homeschool parent. So one of the practical things I did to decide what to eliminate from what we already had on our homeschooling plate was to draw a circle and put the name of our homeschool in the middle. And then I drew little rays extending out of it like a sun. And on each ray, I put other little circles and what those things were, like co-op or sports activities or whatever. And then from those little suns, I made other little rays for like ballet and taekwondo and parkour and all of these things. And once I had my map outlined, I realized that this is so much energy spreading out in so many different directions. I think that it's much more useful as an essentialist to have fewer rays and have them extend further, have us progress further on them. So this year, I told the kids, there's only going to be this many activities that each of us engage in. Obviously, this year is really easy because of quarantine. But that being said, going forward, even after this period ends and we are no longer socially distancing, I think it's really important to emphasize that we all have a finite amount of energy and time. And the fewer rays we have for spreading out that energy, the further that ray can go. Right? If we take our energy and we're spreading it in every direction, our rays are kind of short. There's only this much we can progress in any one direction. But if we pick a few chosen ones, we can extend our reach much further. We can progress much farther in those areas. So when you think about an essentialist mindset, think of it like showing up in the world and actually achieving something in a way that matters to you. The way that matters to you will not be the same way that matters to someone else. Someone else might want to pursue swimming or karate or classical homeschooling, but for you and your kids, what are their actual passions? What are the places where they come alive and contribute the most to themselves, to the world? And follow those, make the time for those, eliminate the rest so that we can actually achieve our dreams in a timely fashion. One of the other key things that this section, Eliminate, talks about is the power of a graceful no. Now, we all have been in that situation where we're talking to a friend and they ask us to do something or participate in something or join something with them, and we give the ready yes, like, yeah, sure, that sounds great. We're still smiling, we're still engaged in like that social connection, and we feel instinctively bad to say no. We feel like that is somehow rude. The essentialist would say you need to get over that, and you need to pause before you respond, you know, that awkward essentialist introverted pause. Like, give it a pause. Count to 3 in your head, count to 5 in your head, count to 10 in your head if you have to, but give a considered reaction. Don't give that swift yes. Say, you know, I'm going to think about that. It sounds really interesting. Or, I really don't have the bandwidth for that right now, but I know somebody else who would be great at that, or who could help you out with that. Or, nope, 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 that's just not who I am. You can make it funny. You know, you can make it honest and funny. There's plenty of things that I say no to, and my friends just know that I'm just not that type of person. And they make fun of me for it, I make fun of myself for it, or whatever. It's just a joke and it's fine. And I'll tell you, I learned this as an attorney too. The power of saying no goes far beyond just guarding your own time. It actually makes the people you're speaking with and dealing with respect you more, because they learn over time what you are willing to do and what you are not willing to do. So the amount of times you have to say no's goes down, because people stop asking you for the things that they know you probably won't be interested in, which is a healthy thing to cultivate in your friends and colleagues. It really is. If you keep saying no to party planning things, for example, slowly but surely people will realize, you know, that's just not Tanya's jam. That's not something she's going to be interested in. We'll save our asks for something else, something she might be more interested in, like book sales or something like that. The power of a graceful no. There's many ways to say no firmly but politely, and people do appreciate you for it because they can rely on your yeses then. You get this high, right, from saying yes to something, like, yes, sure, I'm a good friend, I'm a good person, I'm awesome, I'm always here to help. But that high slowly dwindles, or swiftly dwindles, into like resentment and a feeling of, why am I doing this? And oh no, I did it to myself again. Even if you're not resenting that other person, sometimes you resent yourself and you wonder, why am I doing this over and over to myself? So, learning how to say no gracefully will not only increase the respect others have for you, it'll also increase the respect you have for yourself, because you are honoring yourself and your own boundaries. Speaking of boundaries, that's another thing this section talks about. When you build a boundary, when you know where your limits lie, you now have greater freedom within them. They use the example of like a playground. When they didn't have a fence around the playground, the kids could only play very close to the school and the teachers would have to watch them really closely. But once they built a really big fence far away from the perimeter, the kids could roam freely and safely. In the same way in our own lives, once we build our fence, once we build our boundaries of like what is okay for us, what we are willing to engage in, what we are not willing to engage in, what actually brings us energy and life and happiness, and what drains from that. Once we build that boundary, our decision-making process becomes a lot easier, simply because so many of our options are outside of our boundary line that we no longer have to think about them. It talks very interestingly about the root word of the word decision being cis or sid, which is to cut or to kill. And basically that's what we're doing, right? We're cutting or killing off options so that our mental energies are confined to what is good for us, what lives within our boundary wall. And when we edit those options out, edit based on your core values. When you build that boundary, build it on your core values, on your core purpose. What are you here to achieve? Think about that always. Revisit it always. Does this align with my true purpose? Does this align with my true goals? Or is it just a trivial nothing that I am just automatically saying yes to? Because truly, we only have this many hours in a day, and this much time in a week, and this much time in a year. We only have this many years with our kids. Let's spend them doing the things that actually matter to us and to our children, not just expending energy and resources on whatever comes our way. So that's basically the gist of the Eliminate section of Essentialism by Greg McKeown. If you haven't picked up the book yet, I can't recommend it strongly enough. As always, you guys, thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to check out Joy's video. It'll be linked down below, and I wish you the very best day.